Yo, what's going on, everybody? So, I wanted to hop on here and tell you guys the story of how I lost one of my close friends to a relationship. I lost him because this girl came into his life, a crazy girl, and things just got out of hand extremely fast. It's actually a wild story. I'm going to try and cover all the key moments because some of them are insane, but if I went fully into detail, this video would be 6 hours long. So I knew this guy my entire life. I went to kindergarten with him. He grew up really close to me. We'd play after school all the time. Went to high school, same friend group, kept partying. After high school, stayed in touch. I'd go to his house, have beers after work, shit like that, right? So we were pretty close. We were always texting, bumping into each other, hanging out, right? Well, he started dating this girl that I knew her, but not that well. When he started dating her, I obviously got to know her a lot more. And honestly, I mean, we didn't really click. We didn't clash well. Her sense of humor was so different from mine. And I just didn't really like being around her. I found her kind of insufferable, but I wasn't going to say this. I obviously didn't fault him, none of that. So me and him just kind of naturally drifted. And I would only see him at bigger events when my big friend group would have parties, right? Well, I came to find out that later down the line, she had been basically living at his house and she was fighting with his entire family. I mean, fighting with his mom is the craziest thing in the world. This mom is a sweetheart, right? Like when I was growing up and even as an adult, she'd be the mom that would yell at us for like throwing around F bombs and shit like that, and just always wanted us over there, always knew what was going on in our lives. Soft spoken, nice. The family is just kind of like old school and traditional. There's no yelling and fighting, right? So to find out that this girl is in this house screaming at the mom and the mom is fighting back with her, I was like, oh my God. Like the dynamic shift is crazy. That should be a massive glaring red flag for him, right? Well, it wasn't. It wasn't enough. And I later came to find out as well that his grandparents had told him that they didn't like this girl. They thought he should reconsider. She's not nice to the family. They don't like being around her, all this stuff, right? And I was like, holy fuck. If my grandma told me that she did not like my girlfriend and that I need to reconsider my relationship, I'd be like, holy fuck, I gotta break up with this bitch. That would be like the most important perspective to me. But somehow in his mind, none of this mattered. He worked through it and they stayed together, right? Well, this is when things got like really taken up a notch because then she started accusing people we hung out with of like really heinous things, reportable things. In one instance, the police got involved. It was a massive ordeal. Everybody took her at her word, and we cut this guy out for a long duration of time. But later down the line, much later down the line, everything finally came down that a lot of it was fabricated. She admitted to it being false because, she was getting in trouble now. There was going to potentially be a charge against her. So she admitted like it was fake. Crazy shit, right? Like she actually did a ton of damage to this other guy's life. A ton. I'm not going to get into it. And then when that didn't go her way, she immediately just like turned around and accused somebody else we hang out of wild shit. Just more crazy accusations. Nobody took her at her word this time, It blew over pretty quick because we were like, all right, obviously we all learned from the first one. And at this point, we had a pretty bad outlook on her, right? I had also found out that at her home, she had incidents with her parents. Her parents were the ones who also stepped into that initial investigation of the guy she accused and came forward saying, she's unstable. She had gone at her mom with a knife. It's actually why she was living at my buddy's house more frequently than her own. So when she accused the second guy of crazy shit, it blew over. And then immediately she just accused another third guy we hang out with. At this point, they weren't really coming around that often. Nobody liked them anymore. None of us could believe that he was still staying with this girl. We were questioning it. If he broke up with her, we would have welcomed him back with open arms. I mean, he's been our boy for years and years and years, right? But if she was coming around, nobody wanted them there. They moved way far away. Like once they kind of burned all their bridges, they also did this really weird thing where they were like texting everybody and being like, if you're still going to associate with these people, you can't be our friends. And they just burned all their bridges. Nobody wanted to be associated with them. They moved way up north. He also like bought a house, bought her a car, paid off her student loan. She doesn't work, never has. He works full time constantly. Is paying for everything. She does nothing. That's another thing. She completely controls who he's allowed to see and when he's able to do it. Another one of my close friends was even closer to this guy than I was, and they would hang out all the time before he started dating this girl. Well, she does not allow him to go see that guy. Multiple times that dude has told me like, "Yeah, I've hit bro up to hang out." And it's his girl texting me back. You know, she schedules everything. And if she can't come or she doesn't want to do whatever the activity is, she just doesn't allow it to happen. She's that type of person. I'm going on a rant here. I could go into these mini details forever, but yeah, I've came to find out that he was paying for basically her entire life, and she had alienated him from all his friends and all his family, right? They got married because one day, I guess she decided, this is a true story, she just came in the living room where they were chilling in the house he bought, and she was just like, I want to get married. You need to buy me a ring, and I want to have a wedding at like this month, right? And of course, for some reason, he just bends over backwards, makes it happen, bought her a ring. The wedding went down. He paid for everything. It was pretty big. It was at a fancy golf course. I was invited. A few of my other friends were invited that, me and this guy went to elementary school with. The majority of the friends, though, none of them showed up to the wedding. It was only a select few of us. And the wedding was, it was all right. It was normal. The weird shit, though, the intolerable part was, well, first of all, when you do the signing of the paper after the whole like ceremony thing to make it a legal wedding, like they legally are married now, you know what I mean? She refused to sign that paper because in her words, she's no man's property. So the whole wedding was like paid for and everything about it was a normal wedding, except it never ended up being a legal marriage at the end of it. So that's pretty crazy. And then also her friends, the bridesmaids or whatever, sorry, their speeches were the worst speeches I've ever heard in my life. They were some of the hardest things I've ever had to sit through. Like I said, my buddy's family is old school and traditional, and everything they were doing in their speeches was just going against that, shitting on religion, shitting on their beliefs, swearing constantly, making the speeches very sexual. It was so uncomfortable in that room. It was so hard to deal with. Some people literally got up and left. It was rough, right? And then another one of my buddies got married. My closest friend got married, and I was in his wedding party. Well, this guy was also invited to that crazy girl and my other friend's wedding, right? So he felt like he had to invite them. He was hoping only the guy would come, but of course the girl came as the plus one. And they came to this wedding, and this was the first time they were like, associating with our really large group of friends again, because all the people they had made those accusations on, had other fights with. There's been many little beefs and crazy scenarios that have gone down. I just highlighted the key ones. So there's a ton of people who hate them, right? Well, this is the very first time in like 5 years that they all got together. And when this couple showed up, they just pretended like nothing happened. They didn't even stand on business. They just pretended like it was all okay, like nothing had changed over the years. And then, I don't know, it was so cringy. I was like, man, you're just like the worst people. You know what I mean? You're just so fake to all these people. And then right when things are over, you start spreading rumors about horrible fucking things they say and do. But then when you show up and you're with them, you act as if you're really close friends and nothing has happened. Just so cringy and so weird, right? They only stuck around till a little while after the ceremony, but I think they caught the vibes that nobody was trying to talk to them, and they left the wedding. That was the last time I ever saw him. And I forgot to highlight this originally. At this wedding, when you like RSVP to a wedding, you can show if you have any allergies or requirements with your food or whatever requests. Well, this girl, for some reason, took it upon herself to write into my buddy's wedding saying, no whole eggs. Like eggs as an ingredient in any type of food is fine, but she can't see entire eggs. Like if he had put hard-boiled eggs out as an appetizer. I mean, first of all, who the fuck is doing that? Besides like deviled eggs, who's just giving people entire whole hard-boiled eggs at a wedding? But for some reason, she wrote out this long paragraph, he showed me it, of how like entire eggs make her stomach turn, she'll be sick, so please don't have any eggs in her vicinity. Just the dumbest attention-seeking shit you've ever heard. Also, this was the first time my girlfriend had ever met her at this wedding because she had only heard stories. I hadn't seen this guy in years at this point, right? So they confessed to me and my girlfriend that they're now in an open relationship, but only on the crazy girl's side. The crazy girl is allowed to sleep with other guys and girls at her will, but my buddy, my old friend, he's completely loyal to her and he doesn't have that privilege because a man shouldn't, all this shit. And then this girl went on to try and be like talking to my girlfriend who she met 10 minutes ago about how she wants to fuck her and do crazy shit. It was so cringy and so hard. We just sat there like trying to laugh it off or whatever, but my God, every time you talk to them, it's insufferable. This girl is just the worst. That was probably the last time I'll ever see this guy. Hopefully, the last time I ever see that girl. I think it's done. All the bridges have been burned. She's alienated him from all his family and friends. She's moved him way up north. Just textbook manipulation, controlling, everything in a toxic relationship. I mean, it's right there, clear as day, but he can't see it. I don't think he ever will. It's kind of like a guy who's addicted to hard drugs and everybody in his life wants him to get clean, but it's only ever going to happen when he wants it. You can't will it on him. I think it's the same with this. Until he sees what's going on, they're going to be together forever. But at this point, even if he came back, man, things are just different. It's been too many years now. It's sad. I miss him. I wish it didn't go down this way, but it is what it is. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Peace.